Now, this is one of the very few times that I have been able to cast on my channel, one being just an offhand post-stream kind of IEM cast. So let me know how the audio is, and I'll definitely look into it. But everything else should be good. It's all best of threes today, and we are still looking for a replacement, as far as I know, for Mio Micah. So this is actually, it's supposed to be the second match that was played. It's the first now. Not such a big deal until we get into the winners and the losers, in which case, you know, things got to get really heated. But I was kind of expecting this, Ninja having to fix one or two things, realizing, yeah, I was gonna guess mouse sensitivity, but you know, graphics too.
Game resumed.
But yeah, now we're into it. It's a PvP followed by what was supposed to be a ZVZ, but we'll find out later. In the bottom right, as the orange Protoss, it is Ninja. In the top left, as the red Protoss, it is Creature for Psystorm. Both of these guys for Psystorm, actually. Thank you, T Campbell88, for that 40-month resub. Oh. Okay. Well. Ninja is cannon rushing. He warns Creature not to DT rush him, which is odd. As, you know, if you made cannons, you would really be worried about DTs, but Ninja's still figuring things out. It's unfortunate. Like, I don't think he did enough into practice games, fixing into practice games. I think he just tried to fix them and then not test it to hurry things along, and unfortunately that'll do it. That won't, well, that won't do it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I was gonna have this whole thing prepared. You know, I was thinking of things to talk about because I don't have a co-caster and there's a little bit of delay, and well, now things are actually gonna get heated really fast. Cannon rushing can be a very tricky thing to deal with. There is a certain way that you have to already know how to deal with it, and then there's also a bit of a mechanical thing to it. I would say maybe less so than against like a Stargate All-In or something like that, but it's a bit. So it kind of gets juked out to the top side, thinks that might be where the cannon's gonna go, and it has to respond to basically everything that he sees, and he's gonna kind of just go for, you know, the probes around. And this is providing still a lot of surface area. This wasn't a tucked in nice little corner on the mineral lines or something. It was kind of a concave around his probe. Was still enough for him to build a photon cannon, so like kudos to him. I like the probe in the low ground. It's got any more incoming probes of Ninja. Unfortunately, kind of misses it, and this one is still alive, having escaped once the pylon went down. This pylon has to get up and live, or the cannon will not be powered. This one's so close to dying, but actually two pylons, and with this one having significant amount of health left over, the cannon is not going to go down. It's going to kill the Zealots. Ninja continuing to throw down pylons, and Creature, I don't know if Creature had the best defense against this. He tried, though. So I'm not trying to say, like, wow, you didn't take it seriously. Like, he really tried. But maybe I spoke too soon. The pylon goes up at the last second, but the cannon actually does end up going down as the second Zealot was made. This cannon also went down, and I thought that Ninja almost had it. Ninja had two cannons, one in each location, that were powered, but just brute force of the probes ended up shining through. 6 of them were lost to do so, but ended up being good enough. This puts us in an awkward position where Creature has even probes to the guy that just cannon rushed, but even though he never really got to as fast as he could have to the cybernetics core, it is on the way, so he's still ahead in tech. But, you know, technically, because he's just so far behind in the economy, maybe he could come back. But tech being a very important thing in this matchup specifically, I would say. Typically you do start off on that one base and stay there for a little while, certainly until you have Warp Gate, which is now just a ways off for both players. But with it being much faster for Creature, his choice of post-cybernetics core tech being much faster, I mean, Creature should be in the lead here. It got close though, and it did cost him a lot. Certainly not a game where Ninja just simply taps out. I like that he also stole the gas. Just went over how tech can, you know, be very key in this, and without the gas, you know, that post-cybernetics core tech that I was talking about isn't actually super available. Huh. I don't know, like, Creature might have been planning on going for like a gateway expand, and that's why he didn't get the gas. Maybe he knew Ninja was someone who does cannon rushes, or didn't and just thought he could get away with it. But that does make it a little bit awkward. It gives him one of the faster Nexus even in this weird scenario. So it's a give and take. And he takes care of the simulator quite quickly. Ninja, that bought time for him. He's got 2 Adepts on the way. More of a typical opener post Cannon Rush and Stargate. Stargate versus Robo. Creature's gonna go along with what I would say is one of the safer paths forward. Stargate's not necessarily unsafe, but Robo kind of covers all your bases. And at this point in time, Creature doesn't quite know what Ninja's doing. Ninja could have also walled off to really hinder his chances of scouting. And with a shield battery, it was unlikely Creature would get information unless he went for an immediate Stargate or goes for an immediate Observer, which he certainly could, but I don't know. I feel like that if he went for an immediate Observer, he wouldn't have to worry about Dark Shrine, but that's, I'm sure it's still a worry. You don't know what the guy who just Cannon Rush is going to do. It definitely feels like, and no contempt with this at all, just a fact. Like, if a Protoss is going to Protoss, they're going to Protoss some more. You know what I mean? So, it's always a worry, and Robo will safeguard you against everything and eventually give you that scouting so that if they did do something tricky, like get a Nexus that you couldn't scout for some reason with these units, which obviously he does, you would also be able to react to that. An Immortal push when Ninja doesn't have a lot of tech here. Maybe it could have been deadly, but he actually is going to go for Phoenix. So I'd actually say the Phoenix take the Immortals out of the equation, and it's definitely still a good unit to have. The Stalker just barely didn't see the Phoenix flying across the map. I'm not sure exactly. I guess Ninja also needs some information. He didn't know if there's a follow-up Stargate or not, so this is just going to be a scout. It might be a little difficult to tell if it's a hallucination or not, but when you shoot it, it does take more damage if it's hallucinated, so if he's paying very close attention, Creature should know that's not the case. And that would have been a pretty fast sentry, too, to gain all the energy it needed. Right after the Adepts, I'm guessing is what would have had to happen. But Ninja did go for a sentry, and it does have enough hallucination. He has real Phoenix. Why not use him? The Adepts ended up living. A proxy pylon is already down, and he's adding on 2 more gateways. And I feel like we've seen... I feel like this is something that came back, like recently. It existed a while ago, and it's come back recently, and maybe it stayed true for some time. I mean, recently is in like 2 or 3 months ago, but the Phoenix all-in... once people figured out that shield batteries don't heal lifted units, suddenly the Phoenix all-in became very, very popular. And while it's only used sparingly, it certainly would be a cool thing to see against, well, the guy who just Cannon Rushed, who might not exactly know what you're up to. But Creature scouted the no Nexus. He knows those are real Phoenix. There's a couple of things he's probably checking off in his mind. And while it would have been great to get another follow-up scouts with the Observer perhaps on the Nexus timing, he is just going to play it very safe and go for triple shield battery. Those are already done. They've been done. He's expecting something, and they will certainly help out against the Phoenix, even if the Phoenix end up lifting some of his more important units like the Immortals. So probably specifically the Immortals. Maybe 2 Immortals and the Sentry would be worthwhile. Actually, it's 5 Phoenix, so he could lift up both Sentries, both Immortals, and even a Stalker. I mean, this is seriously scary stuff for Creature to deal with, but he's got more units that are just tucked in the way in the main base, and actually Ninja's not even going to try to go for it, seeing all the shield batteries, and that's that. Ninja fails a Cannon Rush, only gets so much for it, and then doesn't have a follow-up that's, I guess, a surprise enough. Creature was constantly on guard against something, went for the safest path possible with the safest structures possible, and didn't allow himself to fall into any trap where he was... You know, sometimes you get more worried about falling behind because, you know, they have the world of possibilities and you don't want to be fooled and think they're going for X when they're actually going for Y. But he responded very appropriately. I believe they gave me a map order. But amongst all the fixes here... Found. Lost and Found is the next map. I'm glad to get to see the new maps here. Oops, I didn't have Streamlabs open. Then we'll reset the chat awkwardly. Thank you, Baba Convolute, for that 40-month resub. Hoi, 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 hoi. I'm glad you guys liked my quote. I should really put that on a bumper sticker. If a Protoss is going to Protoss, they're going to Protoss some more. Bumper sticker material. I like sending the one Phoenix, considering he could have sent a hallucination. If he was worried he wouldn't have enough energy for a Guardian Shield of the push, I could kind of understand it, but, yeah, I don't know. There's so many things to be said about that. I would say the chances are the observer would have scouted the Stargate, but it actually didn't, and he didn't know it was a robo until he scouted with the Phoenix, so that's not even something he could have predicted. But then, showing the Phoenix might have given Creature a false idea what was going to happen. I mean, a lot of times Stargate isn't the Phoenix all in. It's actually something that just harasses and scouts and... Whoopsie, wrong scene. It harasses and scouts and goes into a macro game, so... I don't know. Waiting to game number 2. See if this guy sends a probe out. So far, no. So we're going to see a bit more of a normal PvP. In the bottom left, as the orange Protoss, down 1, he is a ninja. In the top right, as the red Protoss, it is Creature. Actually, I could probably check on the Meomega situation, but big thanks to Mugwump303 for that Twitch Prime subscription. As we watch a probe actually go across the map, so maybe I spoke too soon. And another probe go across the map, so maybe I really spoke too soon. That is going to be a cannon rush, and at this point, if Ninja is just known as a cannon rusher, Creature, his teammate, another player playing on the North American ladder, it'd make sense that he would have even a potential just straight up hard counter to this. And it looks like he's already got that probe microing down there. He's already dealt a lot of damage to Ninja's probe. It's not looking so hot here for the cannon rush. And Creature obviously knows, you know, when it's okay to sacrifice a couple probes to just make sure this is nipped in its bud. So I'm not feeling so hot, but things could always go differently. Especially with the new maps, there might be some locations that I wasn't sure of or Creature didn't know about, but it doesn't look to be the case. As everything is being done out here. This is going much more poorly, I want to say, than the last time. Now, it does finally manage to wall off, so his probe is fine. But, oh! Hey, Zealot, want to do something there? Not just, stick around? Cool. Alright, so the probes are going down. This is a, I don't even want to say it's a thicker wall, right? It's just a, couple more buildings deep, and while his probes got much lower in health this time, they didn't actually die. This one was even microed away as if he wasn't going to bring it back, and then he brings it back. I think Zealot is starting to try and pierce through everything here. The second Zealot's now out. It should have enough, should have enough room to get some shots in while this buddy dies, but 2 cannons next to each other are now up, whereas the last time, I guess, 2 cannons were far apart and being attacked by, different concaves. This time they kind of protected each other, literally, from a concave, as well as just being able to shoot the same target. And, wow, I thought this started off worse than last time, yet its end result is actually better, okay? I guess I just can't call cannon rushes. But Creature is going to now have to think about plans B, C, D, E, F, and G, right? This is where things get really tough, and actually he's just going to decide to tap out. GG. Ninja, our cannon rush hero, gets a point on the board, and these are just best of 3s. The next map, I believe, is going to be Catalyst, because I remember it was one of the older maps. Yes, it is. And I wonder, what type of cannon rush you can do here. Because he is a known cannon rusher, especially at this point, there were a couple of maps that you would sneak the probe in and cannon rush before they got their usual probe scout timing. I remember Zest tried doing that and was scouted, and it was hilarious. He lost. But if you're known, they're going to try and hard counter, and they're going to look for it, so it's not really a possibility for him. He's just going to kind of brute force it. Okay, but one of your cats is co-caster. No, I'm not going to do that. But thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, Paul is sleeping. Good night, Yogi Gear. Ninja doing the nice thing and waiting for me to say ready, but it's okay. I wasn't really planning on running commercials, although I suppose that I could. Or taking big breaks. Like, oh, shotgun it. I still haven't had much time to talk about, I don't know, like, miscellaneous things or even these guys' histories because things have always been cannon rushes, and I'm expecting the same thing here. Oops. Well, let's do the introduction, see if I can fit in something real quick. In the bottom right, as the orange Protoss, it is Ninja. In the top left, as the red Protoss, it is Creature. So, okay, now that we have, like, a little bit of time... Probably have to follow this probe, though, right? That was weird. Let's talk a little about these guys. So, you know, we know they're both on Storm, and that's great, but what else does that really mean? You probably haven't seen too much of it unless you really pay attention to the NA stuff, and that's fine. Unfortunately, North American events don't get as much, you know, viewership as they really should, and sometimes they can be a bit of a, clusterfuck, let's say. So... It can be awkward, but actually playing a ton of online events. I mean, actually, Creatures played in the Gauntlet, Filthy Cup, and the Scarlet Classic. Like, of course, any WCS qualifier that appears. So, yeah, some awardy team league stuff, like a lot of things. You can check out his Ligulac, and I'm sure he is played against his fair share of cannon rushes. But it's like every thumbprint has a, you know, everyone has a different thumbprint. Everyone has a slightly different cannon rush, but oof, getting that probe is bad news for Ninja. So far, he's able to save both. So we'll see how that affects the rest of this game here. Now, this is awkward. I don't know what's happening with the probes. If they refuse to it, there we go. I don't know what he was trying to do, but they lost a lot of attack time on these two pylons. He manages, actually, to keep... Oh, no, that's Ninja's probe. Oh, so that turned out actually really well. I thought it was Ninja's probe that was waiting to put this down to wall itself off, but that was Creatures, and Ninja's probe was already very low health, so it was an instant kill. And he's going to have to sacrifice a few probes to do this, but it might just be worth to actually kill the cannon. Unfortunately, Zealot only gets one swipe, but the probe should be able to do it. He loses 5 probes for it, and another probe of Ninja comes forward, but he's not ever walling off the top. Oh my god, so much damage instantly done, though, even with the mineral walk. So even though he doesn't wall off his his main base, it sounds like being good enough, and Ninja is this time gonna have to think about plan B. Now, last time he followed up into an all-in, but I'm sure he has different ways of following up. I mean, I would not be surprised if all of the ways he follows up is an all-in. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of different ways you can do it. A lot of different cheeky things you can do. Actually, he's gonna go for a 2-base Nexus. Which, okay, alright. Huh. I don't think these probes are really meant to both be following him. One makes sense, maybe for scouting, but... There's no reason to lose 2 other probes. Ooh, Creatures just... Oh, Creatures wasn't paying attention. And now it's probably 2 damage to try and get this kill, so... I just lost an extra probe for really no reason. That's a bit painful. That is a bit painful.
Game paused.
But Creature did have a Semitex core already producing Warp Gate, which is the good news. Even though in total now he's lost 6 probes, that is pretty much identical to the very first game. Ninja needs his camera hotkeys, which you did note were not on. I don't know how he realized they weren't on at game number 3. Did he not use camera hotkeys for game number 1 and 2? That's so weird. I don't know. Anyways, now that we have a pause in a bit of a more macro game, I was talking about how Creatures played in a lot of events. What's funny is also his trivia on Wikipedia is that he achieved Master first time with the help of Combat X's Cannon Rush and Proxy 2Gate YouTube videos, right? Like, that's almost word for word. And here we are watching him in a tournament getting Cannon Rushed. And generally, if you do yourself go for cheeses or all-ins, you are better equipped or better equipped with knowledge, let's say, to deal with any that you face. So Cannon Rusher is pretty good at defending Cannon Rushers, kind of thing. Creature definitely has been making some mistakes, though, not absolutely perfect. But in this game, having survived that stage, gotta give him the lead. Even though Ninja has that Nexus, Creature's gonna have a Warp Gate much faster. We'll see what he does to utilize that, if he even does. Thank you, Deborah Melandro, for the $5. Great casting, you're awesome. Only way to be more awesome if you have a cat as a co-caster. I know, but it's just not gonna happen.
Game resumed.
In this case, your dreams will be memes. Also, what I know about Creature is that he participates in a lot of the Psystorm Cups. I guess he lives around here, but I don't know, some people travel really far. Oh no, he participated in the online Psystorm Cups. I just remember seeing him win, or well, actually he didn't win them, get second place in a couple of them, but now that I'm thinking on it, I see him in WCS events, but did I actually see him in any of the Psystorm lands? I might be confusing the two instances. Oh, he stuck his pro back in. Look at that. Well, those are some of his results. Otherwise, just continuing to struggle on that GM train along with Ninja, basically. Robo follow-up for Ninja. Okay, so the Stargate follow-up that he chose to macro out with game number 1, the other one that he lost, ended up going into an all-in. We'll see what the Robo can do. I mean, the Robo is a perfect tool to macro out of, to just play safe with, but I mean, you get an Observer first, and then maybe you don't think you need to get the Immortal. Suddenly this Proxy Pylon is going to kill you, and even if you did get the Immortal first, because you were planning an attack, guess whose attack's gonna happen quicker? The guy who just defended the Cannon Rush. So his Robo, pumping out that Warp Prism. Now he's gonna have quick warp-ins and the ability to micro. Sounds pretty good. This is a... Ooh, I was gonna say a fairly important recall, but only a single Adept. He needs the shield battery, but, you know, he needs the shield battery also in the main base, and that's where things get really tricky. He's gonna be so preoccupied protecting over here. Suddenly Adepts appear in the main. He's like, where the hell did they come from? It's gonna take a lot of manpower, actually, to go and kill that pylon, by the way, so this is just a problem that is going to continue or take away from the push over here, which he is building a ton of shield batteries. He can prepare for this, but now the Sentry's gonna be under fire, and Creature might just make this look super easy. An Immortal does pop out, but it's not particularly good against the Adepts, which it did target found first. Now he's focused firing on the Stalkers that were warped in, but the micro, the Warp Prism, is so key here. Using it to also warp in, there's nothing to kill the Warp Prism, and this looks like it will be game, and Ninja will go down to the losers bracket of Group A. He's not quite ready to give up, and Creature's a little hesitant to push into that Immortal. But he should be fine. Ninja actually has a couple of warp-ins, but that's not enough. GG, well played. Creature takes game number 3 and the series. So he will face the winner of, well, actually, no, I'm not even sure. He'll face the winner of the next group, but... Who did the match end up being with? Oh, Miyamega seems to be here. Okay. They can go first. Okay, what? Miyamega just says 7 minutes ago, yes, but I don't see anything else. Because it seems like they found a replacement, and then Miyamega randomly says yes, so I'm not sure. Apparently he does live kind of close. So he has been to the events. Hasn't placed yet, though. Or not in 2017, at the very least. Oh, whoa, Sasori? Oh, what the hell? Ooh, cool. Well, that's interesting. I guess Miyamega is Vietnamese. Sasori is a name I haven't heard in a long time, so let me just confirm everything before I just start spouting stuff. So he's an American. It feels like a name I heard a long time ago, though. What am I remembering this guy from? It's gonna be ZVZ still, but it's 16-bit, Acid Plant, and then Catalyst. I think I'm confusing this with someone else. As I continue my research here. Damn it. Sasori versus Peng. Did the stream title. Set the lobby invite. Okay, so I don't know as much about Sasori as I was thinking I did. Oh my god, Battlecruiser, chill out. Jesus. Jesus. Is there a bracket for this? There's just it's groups into a bracket. You can just find the information on the Team Liquid thread, which you can get by typing ! Invitational. Whoa, is this new? Or have I just never looked at it before? The ad break box now tells you approximately how much money you'll make with the current viewers you have every time you run 2 minutes. Guys, I can make $2 right now. I'm gonna just press this button. Or $1 if I have 1 minute ad length. Oh, perfect. Think of Saxcree. No, am I though? I don't think that I am. Although that's a pretty close name. That's not who I think I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah. I don't like that he responded for me, but I'll let it pass right now. Well, Saxby also brings back some names, but I don't remember where I would have seen this. I mean, the most recent results that are found are like really something very small, I guess. But I'll continue to look into it. First, to the introductions, the ZVZ, so things could get heated pretty quickly. Looks like no one's going to go for an early pool, but still. In the bottom left, as the green Zerg, it is Pengwin, another Psystorm player. In the top right, as the yellow Zerg, it is Sasori, who was brought in as a replacement for Miomaika, who was far too late and was replaced. So the last time Sasori played was actually like not that long ago, but it was in a Gauntlet Cup in February, late February, and a couple other things. Same in the Dust League. I guess I'm not too surprised by that, and very infrequent player in tournaments. Anyways, I have no idea what his ladder looks like. He's currently Masters. Maybe he has a different account. I don't know. Yeah, not much more I can say about this guy. So we're gonna be learning together, I guess. He's defeated, I mean, some notable names here that he's defeated. The most Zero recently, who was, I guess, recently popular because it was Nation Wars. He did beat Ruff and Pengwin last year in February, but that was a year ago, and it was a best of 1. And before that, he lost to Pengwin in 2015, so like super infrequent results. So I have no idea how he's going to perform today, but just based off of that, what I know of both players, what I know of Pengwin's skill, I do put Pengwin as the person who grabs at least the 2-1, if not the 2-0. Being ZVZ, being a mirror matchup, I don't know, it seems like it kind of knows the guy, but I don't want to say that he does know his playstyle and all that. It's like these things really start to add up, and they can certainly lose the game, but Pengwin, very decent player. I don't know, do I expect to make out of this group? I think I do, yeah. Because ZVP is just really, it's like drunken Kung Fu Master stuff, so yeah, I think Peng will make it out of the group and be in the top 4, but We'll see how he does it, I guess. The winner of this will face Creature, loser Ninja, and we'll see if Ninja also can rushes versus Zerg. I like what Pengwin has done here. Going for the forward expand is, I guess, a lot safer in the other matchups, and even like heavily suggested in the other matchups, but versus Zerg, that is a bit more of a question mark. I actually think I like it. Double Evolution Chamber for Sasori, who's also grabbing a Spine Crawler. But where? Wait, where the hell did I see that Spine Crawler? Oh. he... Okay, that was a bamboozling. I assumed there's 2 evolution chambers next to each other, despite what my eyes were telling me. But anyways, that Spine Crawler at the front is really quite weird, and Pengwin is probably going to think the same thing. It's one of those things you see, and, you know, you immediately go to, like, why would they have that? I guess they're playing... and if assuming that you think that their skill level is up to par, like, okay, I guess they're trying to hide something. Because otherwise it'd be very hard to hide your build, considering how much open space you left on the ramp, which, you know, with Pengwin, with how he expanded, is actually going to be able to deny units as you would usually see on other maps. But anyways, but there is that chance that, well, yes, Sasori just really wants to hide his 1-1 evolution chambers. He even put them in different locations after all. That he is just maybe like overcompensating by getting a Spine Crawler, but that, you know, that actually might be... This actually might be a cool idea. We'll see how it plans out, though, against Speedlings, and that's where things really came into question. Like, if it is just a deny scouting, how effective could that really possibly be once speed is done, once they dedicate more than 2 lings, either one? And, you know, the answer here is just it's not very useful. But Pengwin only sees 1 evolution chamber? No, he actually did, so that was nice. He saw both. Even if he saw 1, expecting either a fast +1 melee or fast 1, you know, carapace, that still puts you in a little bit of uneasiness. And a Bailey Nest is still the way to go, but seeing both and no Roach Warren, okay, so now you know that you could have to be defensive. Everything's lining up very well, that there could be a huge swell of lings that were just about to pop. Or, if they are going to just go ahead and go into a regular macro game, that they have just dedicated so much to upgrades that you really don't have to worry so much. And Pengwin was in a state of probably a lot of worry, because he went for a 3rd hatch, he also went for still a very quick Spire. The Bailey Nest was, yeah, he's like super worried, double Spine Crawler. The Bailey Nest was something that, you know, he could afford, but actually affording much beyond that, well, that was in question because he wanted to get to Aspire. But seeing what he did, seeing a lack of lings, continuing to see a lack of lings, what he knows from this game is that, well, first of all, he's ahead, and then second of all is that he's safe. You know, the double Spine Crawlers ended up being unnecessary, sure, but with the Banelings, he would have already felt an initial sense of security, and then the Spine Crawlers just amplified that, and he's good to go in Aspire. Which, you know, Sasori didn't have that late of a lair himself, but what is he using it for? His own Spire. To his credit, he'll have better lings, and lings can be a crucial factor in Muta versus Muta play, but with the severe difference of Spire timing, this usually just goes to the person who has the better Spire timing. If it's like a 30-second thing, but if it's an entire Spire, and what is probably going to be a few more Mutas, right, let's just... That's worrying, that's worrying. But Sasori's really believing this 2-2. So we'll see how that goes. This Overload's going to see that, and I'm sure Penguin's been clicking on the lings to confirm that it is in fact 1-1 lings, and that's also a lot of the reason why he's preempting the Spire play. Did I ever see you see it? I didn't actually see the Spire, but it's a good call from Pengwin. Double evolution jib with no Roachworn, probably gonna be for ling upgrades. Continued upgrades, more for lings. What do you pair lings with? A Spire. So getting the Carapace upgrade is putting him pretty far ahead. Sasori can get +1 Carapace as well, because he'll lose his Overlord to Mutas, but it'll be so much later. Everything is looking up for Pengwin. But I do want to say that there were some times in Heart of the Swarm, because Heart of the Swarm is where Muta vs. Muta was the big dog, that ling usage ended up being better. If your lings were in higher numbers, if they were used more appropriately, or if they had faster upgrades or some weird build that you opened up with, they sometimes stole the show. They'd have 10 more mutas than you and maybe even a faster upgrade, which is just huge. Absolutely huge. And yet that person would lose hatcheries, drones, queens, whatever, to ling run buys. So don't underestimate Sasori's ling pressure here, but You know, I don't think Pengwin will. Pengwin is kind of a master of mutas. There's one thing this guy's very familiar with. It's mutas, as well as some fast Hydra builds and fast Lurker builds. As he does play with these an awful lot. So, I'm sure he's well aware of how Sasori could be trying to play this. And he should be well aware of his lead in this game. Sasori actually went for +1 air weapons first, which is cheaper, but not nearly as good. +2 carapace is even more effective, but it is cheaper to get that +1 attack, so usually you see 1/1 and then 2 carapace, 1 attack. But man, that's 2/2 upgrades on the Lings. They would absolutely demolish Pengwin's Lings. But because Sasori hasn't had any confidence, and he shouldn't have any confidence, to go out on the map and kill overlords, Pengwin is seeing every single Ling run by and responding to it with his own Lings, his own Banelings, or his mutas if he has the time. And these 2 spine crawlers that end up being unnecessary for the initial 1/1 potential timing are now just really fantastic to have in case a Ling run by tries to just run on through. They're only so effective, but you know, it's still something to have. The muta count continues to grow as Sasori continues to lose overlords. It's 17 to 18, which is really not that bad. There you go. That's more what I was expecting. 17 to 22. Still not as far behind as you know, one would think with the upgrade committal and how late the Spire was. But ultimately, if these two were to go into a fight right now, and in fact losing some mutas right off the bat, things could go very, very poorly. Okay, is it just me, or does Sasori's mutas sometimes look like green mutas? Because I swear to God, their wings are changing color. Can someone just confirm with me that I'm not doing some weird color blind thing? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna pay attention to that next time. Fuck it, I'm gonna pay attention to it now. They turn green, right? Like, what the hell? That's actually really confusing. What the hell? Does this normally happen? Okay. That might make calling the muta fights kind of hard, but that's what the unit tab is for. 28 to 19. We know how that's going to go. There's actually not even any question here. Better upgrades for Pengwin too. He's got that +1 carapace, and Sasori he's not even close. He's spending all of his cash on trying to get more mutas. Now he's down to 17 to 30, and Penguin's absolutely won this game. Barring any extreme run-bys that last for approximately 5 minutes, of which Pengwin tries and fails at defending, Pengwin wins this game. Oh, there's the attempted Ling counter. He grabbed the 4th base. I mean, that was an okay pickoff, but grabbing it again, oh my god. Grabbing it again isn't that impressive. Banelings in perfect position, just stop most of the run by into the main and natural. These mutas are hesitant to run in. There are no spore crawlers though, so they absolutely could have tried to initiate some of a weird base trade, but they would have been caught eventually by these mutas, and they would have lost. Final attack, final weird attack, final weird attack, final weird attack. Okay, cool. Cool. That should have been Pengwin killing all the mutas, but he's gonna chase him down now that he's found him again. Pengwin has fallen down in the drone counts, and I guess his Ling counts, well, actually Sasori didn't make his Lings, so it doesn't matter. He is winning the Ling count, he's winning the muta count, and while he might not be winning the economy on drones, they're both stuck at 3 bases anyways. I guess back when muta was a thing, it was forced red versus blue on the tournaments, so this hasn't really been an issue. Not many people happen to choose yellow and green and also go into mutas, so. Flappy the wings. Someone's winning. Penguin's absolutely winning. Sasori cannot escape the range. And this is game. Sasori is just being pretty stubborn, I'm gonna be honest. You know, you could kind of believe when he had like 50 Lings. Maybe they do before Miracles, then he lost those Lings. And this should be tap out time. ZVZ, muta vs muta, can be a very silly thing. It can be easy to call in a very silly way. And most of the Zerg players, once they got to this point, they know that they're just dead. Sasori is trying to do that whole Hail Mary, you know, clutch thing where he goes to Infestors, but it's not going to work. 27 mutas to what is going to be 0 very soon. GG. Pengwin takes game number 1. Sasori really wanted to hide that build, I'm guessing, but he chose a pretty bad map to do it on, and I guess a bad expansion process to hide it too. I think it would have been cooler if he had gone for like a roach run that was a fake, just to throw Pengwin off, or if he had gone for the forward expansion so that he had a better chance at denying the Ling Scout, but... I have no confirmation if this is true, but DreamHack does put on these smaller StarCraft 2 tournaments, like Atlanta. Although the most recent Atlanta one was pretty big, actually, thanks to base trade. But they do have some of these small StarCraft tournaments where I have no idea who won. I mean, apparently Stefano just won the tour championship, but it's not really counted. So I don't know if what this guy is in chat saying is true, but I guess Sasori, maybe in Denver, maybe wins those tournaments. But regardless of that, yeah, maybe I should have told these guys not to choose these colors. Oh well. In the top left, as the green Zerg up 1, it is Pengwin. In the bottom right, as the yellow Zerg, it is Sasori, and he is going for an early pool. Gas first, actually. So mixing things up quite a bit. Looks like he is on Destruction Gaming's team, and that's why he was around to be called in. So that's cool. I feel like if Sasori used the Lings to tank the Glaives, could have worked a tad better. I would have gladly talked hours about Muta vs. Muta dynamics, but the game was already so heavily favored for Pengwin that I didn't really know if there was a point. You can talk about the transition, the Hail Marys, the Infestors. You can talk about Muta boxing, Muta micro. You clump them up so you get the first attack, and you can actually micro them out of the cloud of the opposing mutas if your opponent doesn't micro them correctly. There's the Ling mechanics, that if you have Lings on the ground, they'll soak up the Glaives. There's the obvious upgrade mechanic. Like, there's so many things to talk about, but when it was such a severe difference, it usually just comes down to, once I find that your mutas, I will kill you. The only thing that could have went in favor of Sasori, yeah, you could have done the Lings on the ground against the Glaives. You're absolutely right, but that wouldn't have made up for 5 mutas, I don't think, with upgrades. He could have maybe denied the 3rd more and the 4th forever if it was a different map. Unfortunately, he couldn't really deny the 3rd, as that was tucked away in the back for Pengwin. Because once you get 6 gas, 3 base saturation, you're kind of okay. The extra 4th base only starts mattering as the game goes on pretty long. Or if you're super, super, super dead even, which they weren't. But anyways, this was a very odd opener. We went for a 14 pool, but still got a hatchery. So Pengwin sees that, notices the creep is just a little bit less than his, so it's not like a hatchery first, because it wasn't. But might be successfully fooled in thinking that it's nothing more than maybe a safer bit of play here, but there's actually a ton of Lings with speed already. Pengwin sent his Lings out because that's what you usually do. He realizes this huge mistake that he's made. He's going to lose these Lings, and they won't buy that much time at all. He's going to build Spine Crawlers. He canceled that lair he was going for. Building Spine Crawlers, building a Baneling Nest in case you can buy enough time. That's fantastic. But Pengwin, I mean, if this works, it's kind of a hard counter. But Sasori... maybe it does. No, the queens don't have transfuse. It's happened so quickly. The queens, if they had lasted just maybe 5 seconds longer. Oh, you know what he should have done? Oh, okay, Spine Girl's gonna be canceled. This is gonna do so much damage. More Lings are on the way as well. This is, in fact, game. I think Pengwin might have just gotten hard countered. Yeah. Fast layer, no speed, no Baneling Nest. Very hard build to scout. Or scout absolutely 100% correctly. Like, he might have known there was going to be Lings, but he didn't expect speed this fast. GG. But what he should have done, and you can't really blame him for not doing this. I mean, it was literally the biggest shock for him to see that many lings with speed. He should have pulled the drones and transferred them in front of the queens to buy the extra 5 seconds. If you have 4 drones providing 2 more layers against the lings, then the queens obviously last a little bit longer and the spine crawlers finish, and that still is like a questionable hole just because he was in such a bad position, a bad build to defend with, but it might have been just enough. But a very difficult thing to consider. His mind is obviously along this trajectory of going for the fastest possible mutas. How I'm going to get away with this, and whew, that did not work. Not at all. But nice tricky build. Nice tricky build from Sasori. You know, get those 15 pool gas hatch and or reverse some of those, but you know what I'm getting at. Versus Protoss that Zanster was doing for a little while. And then you have those builds that they give the illusion of an okay timed hatchery, but it's completely false. And that's the first scout that a Zerg will get, is on each other's hatcheries. So now it's tied up, and I did kind of predict this. You know, I think Pengwin might be the stronger player overall, but with ZVZ with a couple of trick builds, he could even lose this series because of it. But so far, no early pool from either one. In the top left on Catalyst, it is the green Zerg, Pengwin. And the bottom right, as the yellow Zerg, it is Sasori. Laser has decided to join it. He wants to be a part of everything. He wants upsies. I took a nap on the floor today because I was washing my covers. And, it was pretty cute. He cuddled up right next to me on the floor and took a nap. So this is kind of funny looking, but if you have a high suspicion, either you know your opponent and they always do early pools, or if you're very suspicious that they're going to do an early pool, it's kind of okay to go for a drone scout. It ends up being a waste if they're not, and this ends up being a waste as it's a hatch first, gas then pool. Pengwin even went for pool then gas after his hatchery, so it's like 2 things not exactly going his way, but very, very small, tiny things that ultimately, unless you're, you know, really, really, really top player, that doesn't add up to matter so much. But you know, sometimes that's a bit later of a queen and they don't get the wall and the ramp, or a bit later of a baneling nest, or so on and so forth. Quick evolution chamber. So this would be, if he's gonna go for what I think he's gonna go for, this would be more of a expected build, cheeky builds that a lot of players have been doing, actually. His first game where he went for a double evolution chamber was just, I mean, that was gonna be so weird. It was supposed to be such a surprise, and ended up just really falling on its face and costing, you know, double the money, just about, a little bit more actually. But this is not going to be the Carapace first, which came back into play. This is the +1 melee, which was a very popular build for months. +1 Carapace was the original fast evolution chamber upgrade because, you know, the obvious, take another baneling hit. And then +1 melee became popular, along with, I think, fast +1 melee in ZVP. But in ZVZ, this doesn't help you take another shot from the banelings, but it absolutely means that your lings will take fights against your opponents. It also means that it doesn't help your roaches later on, which is kind of a bummer, but it is cheaper and it still affects ling-based play, which can be tricky to play against. Now, Pengwin is doing something that I think Sasori is going to be a little disappointed in. I think the best bet for someone doing this build might just be they go for a fast third, or, you know, a usually timed third, and then don't build any banelings prematurely and just get overwhelmed. But with the wall off that Pengwin does, he is safe. So Sasori is not going to get any cool, just easy wins by flooding across the map with lings. But he is going to have to wait quite some time to get his third. You know, the give and take of this roach opener is, you know, even without the +1 melee, it can be difficult to move your roaches in a big enough number to protect the third. So It's already late, and add on the +1 melee, which suddenly makes these lings quite good against roaches in smaller numbers. And Pengwin has to wait quite some time, and then always has to be worried about counterattacks, something that he can't successfully deal with without his own speedlings or a baneling nest. I think some players throw down a baneling nest when they realize what's going on because it's just such an easy thing to do. Okay, I wish the camera was on, guys. But he's being really cute. Because you don't have speedlings, banelings are still great to have in this situation. But if you just hole up and build roaches, that also can work. And he sees the flood of lings. Sasori might have gotten a third base, but his plan was to ling bust all along. And he's got banelings on the way too, so the wall's only going to hold for so long. He might just go for the roach upgrade, either the speed or the +1. We'll see where his banelings head into. A queen can tank a lot of banelings, so she's actually not the weakest point, surprisingly. Okay, goes to the Roach Warren. So Roach Speed is a goner, but the upgrade is still happening. And that's so many roaches that Sasori is not going to be able to do anything with this all in. And he just spent so much money to do this. Now, they did successfully take away the roach production method, but that's already so many roaches that exactly, if Pengwin just splits a little bit here, he should be good to go. Drones have to be pulled away, I believe, temporarily, so some of them will go down, but the wall is held at the front. Sasori's just going to continue committing to this, but Pengwin is like, okay, I've held this. I'm good to go. 14 more drones it is. He did lose 5. He lost his lead, but with 14 more all at once, yeah, he's back in the lead. He's also got better army. As long as you get a decent roach count, roaches do outpace lings. And Sasori has to be a little bit scared. He either puts all of his money into a ton of lings so that they can surround such a large roach force securely, or he takes a chance and doesn't make any lings, just makes drones, and tries to hold off on making army to the very, very last second. Which, with Pengwin not moving across the map, would have been the right option, but there's no way for Sasori to know that, especially now that his overload in the middle of the map has been taken out. Pengwin really pushing this creep along, is blinding Sasori, making him feel super uncomfortable, and providing a roach path, you know, especially because they're without speed, right? Down the middle of a very small map. Even the Overlord's creep spread is coming to effect here. Very cool stuff from Pengwin. And Sasori, he's trying. He's very aware that attack could be on the way. So while maybe he could have fit in a couple more drones, every single bit of larva has to go into the lings right here, right now. He's got a single upgrade to help him out against Pengwin's single upgrade, but it's lings against roaches, and the roaches of Pengwin successfully go to the third base and get themselves into a nook and cranny of the mineral line, and that's the worst situation for Sasori. If he had caught them in the middle of the map and surrounded him, he would have had a decent shot, taking a decent fight, and hoping that his reinforcements could have done the trick, but now, not a possibility. Unfortunately, this +1 carapace looks like it will go down. That will also open up the wall here, as there's not too many roaches for Pengwin, but this is I mean, ultimately, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a sad counter. It's the only thing Sasori could do, and it's what he should be doing. But he shouldn't win the game unless it becomes a weird base race. And the lings are already mostly dead, so that's not going to happen. Sasori, I love the way that he plays. He does remind me of Sasori, I suppose, who I was thinking of earlier from a long time ago with his ling-based play. And he's trying his best to make this work with the spine crawlers. So good thought process here, but it's not going to be enough. And that's it. Good game. All right, Pengwin advances on to face Creature, his teammates, although Ninja is also his teammate, so. Can you show the camera what you were doing? He was being cute. I don't know what. I think he didn't like that I wasn't paying attention to him. So he was like pawing my face. Are you cute? Hi.